Hey guys, in this next installment video, we're going to work on estimating products. As we get further into multiplication and work on multiplication, estimating products is going to be really important. As always, estimating is important because it is really going to help us decide if our final answer is reasonable. It's always going to make the math work easier. If we can estimate, we have a good idea of how to problem solve. And it's going to build on some of our previous skills we already learned. So since you already know that stuff, the further we go through this, the smarter you're going to get and the easier the math should be. So let's start with a simple problem. I'm going to show you what we're talking about today, and then it'll get a bit more complicated as we go. We're going to be looking at problems like 33 times 218. And in this case, we'll say it equals y. Well, if you can estimate this, and it's going to be much easier, we'll look first at the 33, and we'll say that's closer to 30, building on our rounding skills. We either round down to 30, current value here at the tens place, or we'd round up to 40, and that's closer to 30. And then we're going to look at 218, and we decide, is it closer to 200, or is it closer to 300? Well, 218 you should know is closer to 200, so we're going to estimate this problem as 30 times 200. And we'll say that equals y. Now, last week we learned that all you need to do is multiply the basic fact here, which is 3 times 2 equals, and then you add 1, 2, 3 zeros into your product. So 3 times 2 is 6. Add 1, 2, 3 zeros into your product, and we get an estimated answer of 6,000. Now, as we go through these, when you what you're going to do in the lesson is you're actually going to be able to then use a calculator to solve the problem 33 times 218, and when you get an answer, you'll be able to decide, is your answer reasonable based on if it's close to your estimate or not. And the actual answer to this problem is 7,194. Right? And you should be able to tell yourself then, well, 6,000 is pretty close to 7,000. Remember, we're estimating. We don't want to get exact. And I was just using front-end estimation. So we talked in earlier lessons, that's going to be one of the least accurate, but it still lets us know if we're going to be close to our actual answer. Okay, let's look at another one. This one I'm going to put in some context so you can see maybe how it's going to be helping us in problem solving. So imagine you go to a store and you see there's a ballpoint pen or a marker, and that pen is going to cost $4.89. You like the pen, and you think, well, that pen would make a great gift, so I'm going to actually buy that pen for each of my 25 students. So I need to know what $4.80 times 25 students is, and in this case, we'll call that answer Z. Right? I'm trying to figure out what would 25 groups of $4.89 be. In other words, $4.89 times 25. Well, let's estimate. We'll say that $4.89 is closer to $5. And 25 groups, I'll say that's close to 30 groups. And a tip when you're estimating with money is you always want to estimate a bit higher, and that's simply because you don't want to end up in a situation where you don't have enough money. So I'm always going to round my money amounts higher to make sure I absolutely have enough money. So we need to know what is $5 times 30 groups. Well, same thing as last time. We'll multiply the basic fact first. That would be 5 times 3 is 15. And then I need to add, and this is where it gets a little tricky. I'm not going to add these zeros into my product because I didn't multiply 500 times 30. Those zeros in the $5 represent change, so I'm just multiplying 5 times 30 and adding just 1 zero into my product. That means I need at least $150 to buy these pens. Well, turns out the actual cost of the pens is only $122.25. So if I estimate $150 and go into a store with $150, I'm absolutely sure I have enough money because I went in with $150, but I only need to spend $125, right? That's why estimating and rounding your money amounts higher is going to help you in the long run. And let's look at one more, and this one I'm going to give you a chance to try to solve. If I told you, and this is probably pretty accurate, you blink your eyes about 18 times per minute. I want to know, how many times would you blink your eyes in an hour? Right? If you're blinking 18 times per minute, how many times would you blink in an hour? Well, you need to know how many minutes are in an hour. And by this point, you probably do. If not, if you think about it, you can probably figure it out. There's 60 minutes in an hour. So I need to know what is 18 times 60. And we'll call this B for blinks. I want to know, how many times do I blink my eyes in 1 hour if I blink them 18 times per minute? Well, let's say 18 is close to 20. We'll keep 60 as 60 because that's going to be easy to multiply. And we can estimate our answer by doing 20 times 60. Well, same thing as always. Basic fact first. 2 times 6, that's going to be 12. And then I need to add 2 zeros into my product. 1, 2 zeros. So that means you blink your eyes around 1,200 times per hour. That's a lot. And here's the question I have for you. If you blink your eyes 1,200 times per hour, then my question for you is, how many times would you blink your eyes in 18 hours? And we'll call this one Y again. So I'm going to give you some time, pause the video, figure out what, and you can estimate 18 groups of 1,200 would be, or 1,200 groups of 18, and let's figure out how many times you would blink your eyes in 18 hours. Go ahead and pause the video and you can work it out on paper. Okay, you should have had time to pause the video. In this case, I'm going to keep 1,200 as 1,200, or 1,200, and we're going to say that 18 is close to 20. Right? We're going to estimate. We just want to get close. These numbers are going to get big, so the bigger the numbers get, estimation is definitely a reasonable strategy. Well, my basic fact would be 12 times 2 first. So 12 times 2, we know that, it's 24. And we add 1, 2, 3 zeros to my product. 1, 2, 3 zeros to my product. You're blinking your eyes about 24,000 times in an 18-hour day. Now that's probably about how long you're awake, depending on how much you sleep, but you're blinking your eyes a lot during the day. We're going to use this type of knowledge to solve some problems today in the lesson, so I'll see you guys in a bit.